Oren and Scrawny, hi guys.
Hiya.
How you doing?
Yeah, pretty good.
Where's the sunglasses? I thought you were in rehearsal. Lauren was wearing. I mean, no.
Do I need to do this right now? Is it time?
It's sunny outside.
Already.
It's not sunny in here though. But no, I'm really good. It's kind of amazing. We're walking here to get to the casting booth, and I mean, you can kind of see the crowd starting to fill up. But there's people like sat on the floor. Like it's rammed here already. Awesome. So it looks like there's a lot of CS fans out there.
You're right in the midst of it as well. That's great.
Terrifying,
that is true.
James.
How are you doing, Scrawny?
I'm fantastic. Like Lauren just said, I mean, the crowd here is already really heated up. Very devoted to watch the upset. So I think that your prediction here, James, could actually pay off for you, not only because you'll look very intelligent, but you'll also be making a whole ton of fans today.
Well, look, Anders did this for years until Astralis finally won the major. Can we all like appreciate how long we had to listen to him going, one day Astralis will be there. I firmly believe, even the TSM days, just give it time. If you just stick with this for years to come, James, eventually you might be right.
I'm calling it now. KPI will win a major.
Oh, he's taking it quite far,
in 2018.
It's a bit of a stretch now.
Are you good, James? Yeah. But no, I'm actually excited to see these guys play. Every time I've kind of come to these tournaments where it's very like regional, you get that kind of like underdog team coming in, or like the regional like representative. It's always been fun. You kind of get to see new faces, new names, starting to make appearances here and there, whether it may be even the Asian regions. We've had events out there. You've seen a couple of players start to shine like through. I think was it Machine Gun? I'm trying to remember the guy's name. Halvo, you must remember this. There was one player who completely destroyed everyone. We're out in Taipei, and everyone just went, who the hell is this guy? And
it's Machine Gun, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I want to see that. I want to see one guy just turn up. It's not exactly easy, though, doing that against EnVy. Because even individually, pound for pound, you're not going to get very far.
Yeah, I think another good point, of course, is that we already know that the Spanish region can produce these sorts of top talent, right? We've got both Lowell and Mixwell to play off of. Those are players who have now broken through, obviously, and kind of bailed on Spain, but they might have left some talent behind them. And I think that if we do get to see that, then we're going to have an exhilarating game on our hands.
Well, I hope we do. Thank you guys here on the desk, and thank you guys for chatting to us. It was fun.
No worries.
I'm going to leave you to cast the match now. So
thank you so much,
fun.
James. I look forward to seeing those guys later. But yes, as it is just us now, it's almost time for the game to get underway. And as I said, Train being the arena these two teams kind of throw down on, I don't know how I feel about these odds now, seeing KPI. They've come in with, I guess, their best map, right? They've put their best foot forward.
Yep.
But it's still outweighed pretty heavily in the favor of EnVy. These guys play this map. It's in their map pool. Even though they don't have the deepest map pool out of all the Tier 1 teams, this is still a very good one for them.
Yeah, that's it. It's both teams being in their comfort zone. I mean, I think that Pimp was alluding as well to how you can have a very one-sided half depending on where KPI are able to start off of. There's certainly variables that could create that possible upset potential, but it's just... It's a bit of a stretch of the imagination in reality. Again, it's EnVyUs. It's a team with just so many years of experience and so many accomplishments already kind of notched into their belt that we'd expect them to just go through the steps, jump through the hoops, and really just walk away with this win. It should be an easy start for them. They were kind of blessed with this matchup, some would say.
Yeah.
And again, it's just going to be a matter of performance. They have to show up.
I've got to say, there's a lot of the factors for EnVy sitting in the right place currently. You look at Screams, he's playing pretty well, but he's not the guy who gets my attention these days. It's RPK. Every time they get pushed into a corner, he comes out swinging. So for me, eyes on him, see if he has one of those big performances. Scream, it'd be nice to see that kind of form again. But on the other side, the hometown heroes, KPI Gaming. If there's going to be a task, it's going to start now. And ladies and gentlemen, the crowd is ready. This is sick, guys. It's so early in the morning. But they want this one. They want to see that CS starting up here. So why don't you take us away into this first round?
Straight into the pistol, EnVyUs on that CT side. So momentum potentially in their pocket. We've got the kit smoke defuse, but already a bit of utility here for KPI. Nice little set piece could be thrown into that B bomb site, but little do they realize it is RPK who does lock this down. He's got Happy as well, just prying for info up close, and that's where we see that initial engagement happen, but already Happy's been able to fall back, so they're just hoping that this execution comes in, which again, thanks to the grenades, could possibly shine through. But already a decoy to the bottom of ladder side, and players creeping around. Not forward map control for EnVyUs, they're just quite content to sit passively back.
Yeah, EnVy need to play to a decent pace, and it is going to be go time for KPI. They're going to start making their way out through pop 3 players while they test the water. They haven't committed, and you can see the piece now coming through. Mason getting incredibly far up by All Train, and maybe EnVy are going to over-rotate. We'll see how this one goes. This could still go either way. With that molly, though, it does seem like that B hit's coming in. but there it is. That's the big surprise. Mason already gets so much ground gain. He can't land the next shot, but he gets away scot-free. Goes back for the USPS, and the second hit comes through. He's getting 3 players' attention. Bombs planted. KPI off to a blistering start.
Yeah, Mason's going to peek out towards Spawn as well. 2 targets here trying to clear him out, because if he goes down, the retake can still come in. RPK and XMS able to clear 2 frags, but it is going to be Mopaz up close with the burst, dropping 1. But Sixer swings it back, and XMS, he's going to jump on that bomb already. Dragunov trying to clear it off, takes 1, but the defuse comes through. Sixer finding another frag. XMS gets the last, and that is a pistol for the Frenchman.
And it's so integral that Envy kind of retained that smoke as well. They even kept in mind the fact there could be a molly there, so them smoking out the bomb early ensures that that molly could never come in to deny that defuse coming out. A little unfortunate that almost none of those shots hit and he just couldn't get there in time. But overall, nice theory work from KPI to be able to push that player very far forward, kind of throw out the fake through drop, pop. So again, it was quite impressive they've been able to already pull this sort of attention there, and aggression going to be coming out on the CT side. Look at Happy going straight in here, not going to be waiting back for a second. Already gets 1, can fall off this V1. We'll see how confident he feels. Again, KPI are massively underdogs in this situation, so you can see him. Free farm here for Happy, really nice work. Not taking a single death on the MV side as well. It's so integral, just purely because they have, 4 SMGs and 1 rifle. So you don't want to be giving up too much or losing all these SMGs, because then you can have that nice bonus round. Alex, though, connects well towards Scream, and nothing more to be found. So, 4 alive, lots of money made, Envy in a very good spot.
Yeah, I mean, I think bringing up confidence is going to be crucial moving forward. Again, this play here from Happy, thanks to the MP9 and the advantage versus just the pistols, he's never going to shy away from this fight. Clears out 3 players, and dropping the bomb in the process really kind of seals it there. So KPI never really had their feet underneath them, but they certainly do in this round. And it's going to be one of those interesting feats where we still has SMGs in play, 3 of which on the side of the CTs, and it's the Galil AK buy from KPI. Already, Mason getting up close, but it is going to be further aggression. Sixer coming over towards Ivy. Going to look for something. He's got that crossfire set with Happy, but Alex just cowering in the corner as Mason yet again looks to pry into a bomb site. We saw him in the pistol open up towards B, but this time it's Alex punishing Happy. He tries to push in and it costs him. Mason able to grab another frag. So immediately a 5v3 turn 5v2. KPI making mincemeat of the defense already, but Mason pushed back ever slightly. Sixer at the distance, still with the SMG. If he can clear out Ivy now, then things get rolling, but he finds himself all alone in this round, and KPI clearly going to walk away with this.
EnVyUs pretty much approach this round with this mentality anyway. Sixer knows if he can get maybe a rifle or 2 away, it's going to at least keep them relatively humble, but that was the whole idea from Envy to a degree that, if we lose it, it's fine, we can still buy into that next round. It might be a little bit weaker on the purchase. Actually, let's see where their money's at. It's not great. Scream's had a rough start. They've had a couple of close rounds, I guess. Sixer can still buy nicely. They're going to force into it either way because they can get the AWP up. They'll be fine on this. Double up straight away as an answer. Looking at Envy, they're playing a game where they're going to try and set their own pace, where they don't want to even kind of consider that KPI can get close to them. So they're going to kind of reinforce that in towards KPI's brains. Look at Scream, he's down to just a P250 against a full buy, and he knows he is. Happy trying again, turn the odds, spots him out over by B, falls off it, he has support, it's RPK.
He does this so well as well, just plays from the verticality, gets 2 headshots already, so ramp has been locked down until Mopaz clears him out. 4v3, still the double op to play against, of course, and XMS gets aggressive to the bottom of the ladder.
But look at Mason, this guy is finding room everywhere across the map.
3rd round now, already been able to creep. This time he catches Sixer. That's one of the ops now dealt with. An A site cracked wide open. Flashbang not going to connect enough to save his life, but it leaves XMS to be traded out by Mopaz. So 2v2 is what we're left with Happy creeping in from spawn and Scream getting pushed back from connector.
Yeah, Mason's in a really powerful spot as long as that bomb gets planted. If any threat comes through before them, if they try and deny the plant, you know there's going to be trouble, but bomb goes in. So all is safe for now, but the retake begins.
Mopaz going to catch the headshot as well. So not only planting bombs, but taking the man advantage. Sits on the 3K already with Scream in a potential clutch. He's at least retrieved the M4, but Mason's already got his number. Standing in from above, Scream starts to clear it out, and he takes the duel. Not going to win it. Mason able to take that final frag, and another round on the board for KPI.
And that's huge. That was a double up investment coming out from EnVyUs. Their money's going to be pretty much in the gutter at this point. Let's have a little quick check of that. Yeah, a couple on 2K. They might go for a bit of a semi-buy on this one just purely because of it. But that could have been a huge issue. You saw XMS having the opportunity to get 2 kills. That would have stopped the bomb rotating. That would have had everything dealt with, but he only got 1. So then, bomb came through, bomb came down, all is well. Now, for KPI, they haven't really gone on any SMG buys. They're going for that full buy all the way through. They're not going to hinder any chances on this one. On the other side, a couple of players with the upgraded armor. You've got Scream head, head armor on. Everything's got the CZ. A couple of flashes on RPK as well. Now, EnVy can win these rounds. There's no taking that away from them. Scream going to get off to a great start of that. And kind of, again, reminding KPI, don't get ahead of yourselves, guys. You're doing well. 2 rounds is great, but you've got to play this one out smartly.
And thanks to that Molotov to the side of Staircase as well, they're actually able to pull that AK back into safety. However, the op reigns supreme. XMS gets dropped already, and it's going to be 2 players just creeping up to the side of the blue trains, looking for, again, that contact over towards T-Con. But KPI are starting to just group themselves together and ensure that they can trade. Of course, they want to assert themselves versus just the pistols. Sure, 1 player's been plucked off, but they haven't lost this round just as of yet. As long as they can fall back into the mythology and just keep going forward, they're fine.
So basically at this point, you're going against the Deagle and the P250 Era B. 1 flash still on RPK. Spots out the AWP. He knows what's coming. He's going to call the rotates. They're on the way. Can't deny it before it begins. Happy going to be spraying wildly and does good damage, but it's down to Scream. Left in a 1v4. 2 possible targets. Oh, that's brilliant on the first, but the second up there, quick trade out. Great commitment from Alex to come in and not allow that to kind of start spiraling. You know that when Scream starts feeling it, if he starts tapping those heads, he can just run away with it. But good trading, good positioning. And so far, I'm impressed with KPI. This is where, EnVy are going to have to kind of remind themselves, okay, maybe we need to just relax a little bit here. They're going to go on a little bit of a light investment, nothing too much. They can buy fine into the next round and maybe try something a little bit quirky. Maybe push something together, maybe go for some aggression throughout the map, maybe get an AWP away, a gun away, do what you can to maybe make some additional money. The economy's not flawless for KPI, but it is good. That is great, though. Great aggression coming through those brown halls. Any more is incredible from EnVyUs, but they need to back away. No guns recovered.
Already Mason creeping into the A site as well. And he's going to make contact to the backside of Ivy. So spotting targets, the CT is knowing what's going on here. And Mason could easily get overwhelmed, especially as Scream locks down the ladder room. And he's going to retrieve the AK for another. So the pistols paying off as they have cleared 4 and 5 players out of this one. Now, of course, in the last pistol, we saw EnVyUs come in with that double flashbang on RPK. But he didn't prime those into the box halls and allow for Happy to go for the entry frags. This time, we see the same pistol setup, the same buy, but a different execution. And it works out superbly.
I'm just a bit worried that KPI are doing the same sort of plays with Mason going very isolated, kind of lurking his way through on these sort of rounds. You almost want to go, clean anti-ecos, right? It's something you talk about. You kind of approach it in a certain way, a little bit differently from how you play out your gun round. So I'm hoping maybe in the future they keep that in mind and maybe going forward they just be a little aware that, okay, let's be real here. EnVy have been incredibly aggressive so far. They might just go for that straight up push into our faces. KPI looking like maybe a little bit of a different hit coming through here. Not sure if they're going to commit on it, but it looks like a B play coming through. RPK and Happy are the ones on the other side. And yeah, you can see them setting up a couple of smokes in the flashes. They might just go for this one. Dragunov has to be a little cautious though. Again, he did show a little bit more than he wanted to last time he went down towards B. But there's no rush on this. They still have some map control, but not much. The longer they leave this, the more the EnVy can work it out. Molly goes in, and here comes the hit from KPI.
Happy's going to try to set the flashbang, but he already gets removed. Alex takes 1. RPK has not been spotted, so he sprays for 3. And there's still another man to the ladder side, though. So Mason trades it back and gets it into the 2v2. They look to disengage, but the bomb's still stuck on site. So Mason wants to clear flank, and it costs him. XMS going to grab the frag, and that leaves Dragunov all alone.
Brilliant intuition from XMS, not to push into that, to hold and wait to see if KPI were going to make a move. And it is down to this one man. No armor, and he's got to go in against Sixer, who's got an angle. If he fancies his odds going down lower ramp, he's got a smoke to play it out. You know you're encouraging this to happen. Okay, so now cross becomes possible. 25 seconds now. XMS still holding strong. He does have a 1v1 to fight out. He doesn't know this. He has no idea where they are. Now spots 1. He knows what's going on here. Down to 15 seconds. He needs to make a move pretty darn soon. XMS has already chosen where he's going. Dragunov needs to land one of these 2 shots. Trying to hold this off on the retake is going to be incredibly hard. Bomb goes in. Now here we go. Molly's come in. Flash comes out. He's going to have to commit to the bomb here. And now threats everywhere. Spots out 1 on top of the train, but 6 is too quick. but it's all set into piece by RPK. Brilliant round from him.
Yeah, RPK's fantastic little spray down there from the bomb site. That one corner goes unchecked, and it costs them. But nice little bit of utility usage there towards the end as well. Really limits the options that the planter can go for afterwards. So he gets stuck on the train site. They know exactly where he is, and then they clear him out. Here that is from RPK. So players just jumping over him, of course. The bomb carrier himself, and untradeable by Don Q. Had he found that frag, then of course he could have furthered himself again into the depths of the B site, but it's KPI who now find themselves on pistols.
Yeah, really big investment into this, but maybe feeling they can turn it, maybe having some confidence in these rounds. Full molly set as well. I'm wondering what sort of set piece this is. I don't know what they have to bring. It's kind of hard to research KPI. We know this is a good map for them, but with this many mollies and this sort of execute hit, it obviously looks like a B hit right now. And the Tech-9s do just wonderfully at this sort of play, you know, sort of position at this sort of range. RPK still up close, Happy playing slightly further back. Aware that, you know, upgraded pistols are quite likely. And again, anytime you see that, it's going to be the B hit. Smokes come in, RPK wants to commit, but he's not sure. Hesitation costs him, and the B side now is under wraps.
And as opposed to trying to control the Z connector, we already see Happy start to move that second op all the way back towards CT spawn. I mean, a double op retake is going to be very difficult, especially as Mason tries to keep moving forward. He spots targets towards spawn, and it's up to Don Q now to keep them in here. They've been boxed out of the bomb site. So KPI not only finding the plant, but great forward positioning until Sixer comes in, is able to clear one frag and take back the man advantage. Scream just going through the steps now as he clears yet another. That single M4 of Alex dropped to 29 points of health. Still feeling the heat towards sight, and he sprays on to one. He's actually near taking the second, but it's Mop with the next. And it's the 2v2, the bomb's ticking. EnVyUs, they've lost the round.
And I don't think Mop even knew that they'd won that. He was knifing the site. There was no one there. They got the kills. It seems like absolute mayhem when KPI win these rounds, but they did. And that's the more impressive part. Because if you're Envy as well, let's bear in mind, they're a tier 1 team. No matter, you know, how you want to place them or how you want to discuss them, they're still a very good team. They, you know, they just kind of dipped out of getting to the major, essentially. So for them, if you do start losing some of these rounds, especially ones like that where it's like a force-up with Tech-9s and there's ways to play it out, you're going to start getting frustrated. Now, I'm not saying in this round you're going to see it, but down the line it could be a problem. But the double ops come right back out for Envy. So heavy investment from them, a risky one at that. But you can see individually, Envy just want to get this done. Scream pushing right up towards the electric box, claiming Mason early. They're starting to maybe read his game plan. He loves going out on his own. He makes very isolated individual plays, which can work wonderfully. There's no taking that away from him. But XMS only playing with a 5-7 as well. He's suffering under the poor economy that Envy have kind of found themselves in towards.
Envy has had such a great chance as well versus that pistol round because they won a pistol of their own. And for them to then flub the opportunity and swing this one back into the hands of KPI, they've really given them a chance to further themselves on this T side. I mean, 4 rounds already, 8 rounds deep. They are par for the course here on Train. But Don Q, having crept his way to the bottom of the ladder, looks to entry into the A site, but they've lost one prong of the assault. Sixer guiding that op kill onto Dragunov furthers this into the 5v3, and KPI running out of time here.
Yeah, and Happy's found all the information. He's already pushed up the brown halls, so Envy can just kind of re-secure their positions at this point. They know that there's probably at least 1 on Ivy, maybe 2. Donkey could be in trouble as well, but okay, Mop's gonna fight through, but this shouldn't go any further. Envy shouldn't lose this. They know where they are. Oh my god, how is this happening? No, Envy, this is sloppy. This is not the CS you should be playing, but Donkyu's now a little low. 45 HP, not quite enough to make it happen. But losing that many players in that situation, yeah, sweaty palms might be a bit of a case there for them at the end. They do eventually get the round on the board, obviously, but a little bit scary. KPI are bringing a good game here.
Yeah, it's KPI just kind of reminding EnVyUs that in those hectic situations, in those Tech-9 executions into the B site, into the 3v5s, they are still capable of putting up a fight. And that's going to keep EnVyUs on their toes here. But this should be a pretty straightforward round. We've got not any Kevlar really besides 2 players for KPI. Sure, they've got those upgraded pistols, but no utility even to play off of. So maybe one player with those Deagles is able to pop a man on a bomb site, get some kind of an entry frag, and really get things rolling. But it's Sixer with a headshot through the edge of the wall towards Alex that takes the first, but Deagles able to at least deal damage. That is going to be mopped with 1. 4v4, additional damage dealt, and further aggression from EnVyUs. They are pushed up to the bottom of ladder, Scream on the MP9.
There are no flashes this time for KPI. Last time they were able to at least get the trade kill coming down pop, but not to be seen. And you can see KPI's approach. They literally just want picks. That's it. They just want to get some more guns away, try and keep EnVy's money down to a minimum. If they can recover a gun, brilliant. But it's unlikely. Mason here trying to find that avenue of approach down through Ivy, but he's already been hindered. He's, you know, the decoy's gone out. There's presence shown, and they're going to turn their attention around. XMS yet to spot them working their way through here. And they're seeing if they can maybe find someone. You know, the line of sight in this map is so tough to play with. And Scream, great supporting play. Maybe feeling a bit of pressure there, swung out on it. He's taken fights like this, and he's winning them. And he does all you can see. Mason wants that AWP so bad, and he actually has got it. That's pretty costly, and actually could open up some more kills here for EnVy.
It's going to have to happen now, though. 20 seconds left to play off of Scream, able to further the damage and leave Mason all alone. Now, he could just exit towards CT spawn and try to hang on to this, but he looks to re-engage towards site, and clearly that costs him. Happy with the final headshot, the final frag, and a 6th round on the board for EnVyUs. So they've got themselves that 2-point lead thanks to these anti-ecos, and now again, it is going to be a slight buy from KPI, if they were to choose so. A couple pistols here or there, maybe a flashbang. I mean, we saw their utility quite heavily in that one Tech 9 play on the B-bomb site, but they've seemed to shy away from this, really reserving themselves for the full investments.
Yeah, they brought down to 2K, which is fine. It means they can at least buy into the next round. And EnVy's money, it's still pretty, it's not brilliant. There's a couple of players who are doing better than others, but it's still on a bit of a knife edge. That shadow does show, so they already know there's one playing close. Happy has fallen back slightly further now, playing out of connector and being a little bit more passive, and that's just how they like to set things up. But see, EnVy have already adjusted themselves, making this uncomfortable for KPI, who are essentially only looking for a plant. That's all these guys want. Nice dink, though, and the follow-up is great. The deagle comes to play, but Happy stays alive. Now, for KPI, this is job done. That's bomb plant. You're fine. You're good. Happy's having a lovely time. He's just walking around pistoling people. But Mason, I don't think he's going to be able to get much more. If a backstab comes in, if you can maybe get someone playing late out of connector, brilliant. But it's Mason, so you know he's kind of on the flank. You already know what he likes to do. And Six is very aware of this. And it should be all she wrote. It is. The fuse comes in. EnVy get one on the board, but for KPI, the plant was pretty much paramount to that round.
Yeah, they get a kill as well here, right? So icing on the cake. They're able to overwhelm RPK from that forward position. But just great hold here from Happy. Able to trade it out the frags afterwards. He knows those players with pistols are going to try to engage him, and he's able to just really clear him up. So excellently done by EnVyUs, and it gets us back into the gun rounds. KPI with an op in their hands, thanks to Dragunov. This is 3 consecutive now for the CT side. Unprecedented until this point. But can they further this? RPK, yet again, getting up close over towards that B site, and it's going to be Happy to start shifting himself towards there as well. But a great flashbang is going to convince RPK to disengage. Don Q wants the fight.
And EnVy going to be pressured on Ivy pretty soon. 3 players there. You can see the run out comes in. Sixer not going to find anything, but information, I guess, is pretty decent as well. And now the response. Scream, XMS pushing up, RPK and Happy doing the same thing. So pressure throughout the map. It's the B players coming up towards Don Q that is the real big storyline there. That's information again. Okay, this is more than likely an A hit coming out here. There's only one guy watching the kind of push, only watching the flank. They were kind of defaulting throughout with a bit of a lean towards Ivy that we saw early on. So for EnVy, they're getting a good idea of what KPI want. So for KPI, they still have a good amount of utility to put into play, but the problem is they have no information of the aggressive plays. There could be players pushed up everywhere now.
We've seen XMS now just like consecutively push into connector versus both anti-ecos and gun rounds. And it's going to be that forward position that gets him another frag. The headshot onto Mason, but a frag grenade softens him up, and it's going to cost him. Mopaz with a double frag back into this, and now Alex prying in from Ivy takes yet another. And a man advantage here in the hands of KPI, but they slow things down. They still have time, 25 seconds to be precise, and Happy's position could catch them. He's lurking, creeping amongst the trains, looking for the angle. He hears the plant, but he's not going to be able to stop it. So bomb now down, and Happy to the backside. He's going to find that first frag, no trigger discipline, takes the 2v2, and he's just going to use the ladder to get above, trying to find another kill.
But because of his route, he's got a good idea where they are and where they killed other people. Dragunov is not known necessarily, but they know where Alex is. He already got that kill earlier, so the bomb gets tickled with, and that's the shutdown from EnVy. Great work from them, and good intuition from Happy as well, understanding where he's cleared the next threats on board and then plays to it.
Now again, going back to that XMS aggression into connector, that generally seems to be the first step when the CTs want to take some kind of forward control here. But what they do this round is they actually couple that with the box halls push. This play right here between Happy and RPK. Normally they hadn't really gone for that aggression. They'd shied away from it, assuming it would be the B hit. But KPI reveal their hand early on with all of that presence over towards Ivy. So great heads up play by EnVyUs. They get aggressive on multiple portions of the map. They take control in the man advantage. And then in those kinds of back and forth moments, they still come out on top. So the experience and the skill of EnVyUs starting to shine through as they find themselves doubling the score of their opponents. KPI looking for another as they buy into the AKs. No op to play with this time around, barring that in the hands of Sixer.
We're discussing, well, I guess the desk was mostly discussing depth as something you look to. I'm wondering if KPI just don't want to call a timeout, if they don't have much to go to at this point. They've been doing well, and you get your mentality of, if only I landed that shot, or if only I checked that. But the problem is that Envy have been kind of running loops around these guys for now. And again, Sixer with pretty forward position. No instant trade on him. XMS isn't far off. And you got one in towards connector as well. So Sixer wants that one shot, maybe back away if he can. He's not far from it either. KPI still playing this one out pretty default. Got one player watching for the B push-up in case that happens, which is DonQ. A couple of players over by Ivy making noise, just ensuring that the CTs don't feel too comfortable. But Sixer's fine. Again, he's pretty comfortable at this point, and you've got 3 players who can now watch towards that Ivy push.
Yeah, so he does not have to worry about his back. He's just going to have to keep himself trained in on the T-Con. But at the same time, ladder could be open for the taking. No forward B control from RPK as he actually scuffles backwards. But more flashbangs, more smokes, and time ticking away. XMS has the angle from above, and a nice 3-man cross, but Mop's still able to punch in with Alex taking yet another frag. Sixer able to swing it with one of his own, but Alex doubles down, and Mop will do the same. 2 frags apiece, leaving RPK on his lonesome, and that's a full house to the side of KPI as they take 5 rounds as well.
Really well played. Very nicely timing on the hit. You could see the attention drawn to either side. Even though they were having 3 players dedicated towards Ivy from EnVyUs, KPI still managed to just win the fights out. And then as soon as you break that kind of entry over by Ivy or by main, everyone else is kind of screwed. That crossfire all falls apart. Everyone becomes incredibly vulnerable. RPK unable to save it. And they've finally broken the bank, at least to a small degree, of EnVyUs. EnVyUs' money was never completely stable. There was a couple of back and forth rounds, a couple of close ones here and there. So again, you get to see a little bit more pressure put towards Envy. They did win a round like this not too long ago as well, bear in mind. But a quicker pace coming in from KPI. They're just going to bang it right down towards B. RPK going to find one, but swiftly worked through. Nade comes in. Happy connects as well. And now 4v3. Still very, very winnable for KPI, assuming they get that bomb plant.
Dragunov looking for a pick, but the shot goes astray. So still the Deegs here to play. DonQ finds the headshot, at least another frag. But with a grenade in hand and a teammate down beside him, this is looking good for EnVyUs. They want to pick up the pace, and Sixer takes the next. Dragunov goes down, and EnVyUs yet again, with only pistols, make magic happen towards the B site.
The idea was good. I prefer KPI's idea that time when they were on these kind of rounds where they've got the buy and they're against just an ecoed up team. Head towards one side, but by that point they were getting picked apart a little bit. It felt just like, you know, they're taking fights against these Deagles. They weren't playing it out, and I know a couple of players will say, you know, it takes you the kind of tactics and the mental approach, you know, to get the bomb site, to get the bomb down, and then it becomes an individual matter. Now, Envy should always be winning that out anyway, if I'm honest. You look at Scream, he's still one of the best individual players. RPK is now starting to peak up as well, and a lot of them are having a good game. So you got to feel it swings to that way, but KPI is still bringing a good game. If they get the last round here, that's a pretty solid half. I don't think you can take much away from them on that front. They've come into this as a severe underdog, and they've been able to take rounds away from Envy that are quite surprising. Normally Envy, you know, they're flamboyant on occasion. They do go for aggressive plays, but they've been humbled to a smaller degree by KPI, or at least kind of put on notice. Now, a little bit of a play down by Ivy. Oh, and Sixer just misses it. The timing's just not there. There was a little bit of aggression as well towards T-Con, but also fallen away from that. So again, switching up to that spot that actually didn't work out in the rounds prior when you had the 3 players down by Ivy. You can see, again, Sixer's here, depending on XMS to have that kind of play coming through Ivy if required. Now, before, they had, like, 2 more players dedicated towards this, but, again, KPI's money, not great. They're going to have to try and find place for these Tech-9s.
Starting to show their hand towards Ivy. Again, Sixer not having spotted the players, but now at least a little wiser. But XMS going to smoke things off himself, hoping, of course, that KPI just don't come barreling through this. With the flashbang preventing his eyes from seeing anything, he is just going to back away. And it's only Alex prying in at this point.
But look at this B play. That's where the bomb's going. It's a double stack towards that upper side. They put 2 players up here. Happy being 1. Doesn't get the shot he wants to. Gonna have to fall off this. But then RPK's pretty much right on deck. So pushes into it, catches one off. He wants to fight so quickly. He sees it all now. He knows where they are. He doesn't back away. It's RPK trying to do it all again. Only 2 this time, not the 3rd. But the bomb is still up there and they've seen it. Sixer wants it on the action, but he's got an AWP. He has to be reserved to a degree. But XMS, the timing is brilliant again. Sixer wants to deny from below and the time is starting to tick down to 10 seconds. That bomb has nowhere to go now.
No, I mean, he could try to double back to the B site. Mop gonna clear out the A, but he has no bomb. So as long as time goes in the way of EnVyUs, he walks away with the win. Makes it look a little closer, and that's honestly the story of that entire half. KPI able to get 5 rounds still on the board. EnVyUs doubling it, obviously, with 10. But if you just look at the score here, that does not indicate how close the half was in general. So many pistol rounds going the way of EnVyUs, 2 to be precise, a 3rd one being very close as well. Very back and forth, honestly, in many situations.
The more important factor here is that sometimes you see these scorelines where it's like a 10-5 and the underdog team looks pretty decent. Normally it's because they win the first 3 rounds. It's like, okay, they win the pistol, they make it the way through. To be fair to KPI, they were winning a lot of the gun rounds more than anything. They were winning some of the harder rounds out there. So for them, that's more credit to them than anything because, they win the pistol, they can be right back on track here. But you unleash Envy on T-sides, it can get quite scary. That's where Scream can start really tearing people up when they start feeling out of the game, when they start making their own opportunities. So KPI have shown they have some really nice approaches on that T-side. They have some good depth, some nice execute, some individual players with some really nice pieces. But now they need it all. They need to have everything come through because Envy's T-side is damn good. We know it, everyone knows it, there's no taking it away from them. They start to feel out of the game even more.
I think one of the differences as well at this point is that KPI's kill distribution is not nearly as close as that of EnVyUs. We saw everybody really coming into relevance from the defense there. EnVyUs just holding the line, everybody retaking. Either site, didn't matter, they had it in their hands. But it is EnVyUs now to the T side in the pistol. Can KPI make this closer? This would be a fantastic start for them. 1 single smoke and the double flash on Sixer, and already terrorists starting to creep their way towards B. So taking some map control, leaving Happy over towards Ivy, their options are open.
Yeah, Donkey going to take a little bit of contact, force off it. Not going to stick around too long. Because Envy haven't shown too much. They've shown 2 players and no bombs. So again, you don't want to overthink things. You don't want to over-rotate and get caught out. It's very easy to. Alex now. Occasionally looking towards Ivy. There is a player down there, so at this point, unless Happy goes on an incredibly long lurk, it does look maybe a pinch towards A through probably Pop and a little bit play through Con coming out from XMS too. But KPI haven't pulled players off. They haven't kind of fallen into any traps here. A little bit of pressure applied, but we're down to 50 seconds. Lots of time to play with. RPK is going to commit, and here comes the bomb. So they are going to go back towards B. And Alex already finds one. That's Happy now down. Dragon of... Oh, that's the shot. That's what you want to see. That's the denial of everything. And again, this guy, he was quiet. Oh. He was quiet on the AWP, but he comes alive on the pistol. What a message to send in the first round of the second half.
Beautiful marksmanship with the pistol there from Dragunov. Just really honestly does not feel the heat of that execution whatsoever. Never shies away from a gunfight, just sits to the top of the red train. The last bullet in the mag, the reload, jump across, and final kill as well. Beautiful stuff.
It's a bit of a god, that guy. Just don't give him an AWP, just give him a USPS. It's fine. Enemy right back on the buy though, forcing into this. No reason why not to. No plant was found, even though normally when the T T-side makes it that far down ramp, you'd expect a bomb plant. There was nothing. That was such a good deny.
It was just Dragunov all day long. 4 players from EnVyUs grouped up towards Ivy. Leaves Happy to just kind of lurk in from T-Con, so it's going to be Alex who will definitely feel the brunt of this execution, but already kind of wary of that threat. Falls further back. Again, utility to play off of for KPI. They have all the tools in the world. It's all just going to come down to a matter of execution from EnVyUs, but unfortunately for them, no smokes, no flash. They're not even going to be able to section off a single player. It's going to be gunfights all day, but damage dealt at the very least already. Mop finds the first frag, whips back towards T-Con. That's Happy down, and now everybody just floods into the ump of Mason. Makes quick work of that push.
KPI are bringing us the game now. This is when it gets very, very nice. I outlined it on the half that if they did pick up the pistol, convincingly at that, convert the second cleanly again, which they did exactly as required, they're not only going to keep Envy's money pretty low, they're going to make them get a little on notice because it's going to be 10-8. You shouldn't ever lose to all Glocks. There's almost no opportunity. They're just going for a plant, I can imagine. Donkey knows it. Molly out towards lower ramp. Double molly towards lower ramp. Someone needs to be watching that upper side, and they do, but it's a little late. Now there's a little bit of a problem. Donkey could have been overwhelmed, but he's fine. He keeps it well in check. Now, it's about the bomb plant, so let's see where Happy takes this.
He's going to take it back towards the A site with the ump of Mason, who tried to just kind of get in there with the execution and try to scuttle it from inside. But that's not the case, and it leaves EnVyUs at least with a bit more time to still play off of. Minute 15, maybe he can further some damage, but Alex gets aggressive. He wants his kills, and he will take both. So KPI moving this, again, ever closer, but versus Glocks as expected.
Let's see the money, though, for EnVyUs, because it's not going to be outstanding. A couple of players barely getting kills here, so it might be a slightly lesser buy. How much is Sixer actually on at this point? I'm kind of curious. No, he can't even get an AWP here. So they do manage to scrape it together with at least a couple of mollies, which is always nice. But no AWP coming out for Sixer early on is always frustrating. No nades. Yeah, there's still a little lacking for Envy, so this is a good shout for KPI. And look at the auto sniper with Dragunov. He's not messing around. He wants to make this hurt. And Alex going for early information play on the CT side. Really nice. So smoke, flash goes out. He's not going to push this, but he gets information. He can hold the angle. He basically means that Envy have to work their way back in quite carefully. They have to maybe commit some of their very limited utility. Donk, you've got to be careful. Catches a face full of damage, but can fall off this as well. So KPI just need to be very aware that Envy are now going to be playing a very smothering game almost. Just try and take every breath of air away from them, but still. They are down to those kind of last bit of smokes left, mollies. So Envy soon enough are going to have to make up their mind where they're going.
Starting to see a bit of movement here from Mason again between the A and B bomb site. So a little ambiguous, but KPI just keeping 2 players per. Hoping, of course, to catch out that execution. EnVyUs as well, just spreading their numbers thin and buying their time. There's no rush at this point. They are still sitting on a pretty chunk of utility, all the smokes to really kind of blanket this B bomb site. We saw KPI do it on their T side with only Tech 9s. There's no reason that the AKs couldn't pay off here, but Dragunov's auto sniper, that could be a problem. Especially as the lower ramp will be smoked out. Upper, not so much. He's going to catch players in the open? No. Going to give himself a bit of room to work with as Happy comes charging through the fire. He's going to try to entry in. Don Q's attention gets pulled away, but he takes 2 frags near third. Sixer clears him out. Mason from the corner, though. He'll take 2, and Scream's gone down thanks to the auto. It all works out in the gun round.
They're bringing so much here. And just the fact they had 3 players on that site was everything for KPI. Even if they only had 2, that's fine, but still, they actually handled it pretty much between 2. But the point is that they had that additional third, just in case maybe Happy actually did make his way up further through, down by that lower ramp. But for now, we're down to just Eagles, pistols. Envy's money is gone. It has been completely and utterly shredded, 10-9. KPI on the verge of tying this one up. The crowd's turning up as well. You saw it just a second ago. They are here in droves to watch these guys, and can you imagine if KPI actually put Envy on this one? The worst part being, James Duffield would be the only one correct thus far. I
was about to mention that. He's waiting for it now, as Alex is able to catch Happy through the smoke. So 5v4 in the anti-eco already. Again, no utility here for EnVyUs, so they're just going to rely on the aim of the Deagles, and aim, that's something these guys can do.
There's no disputing that. I think everyone's very well aware. And Scream's wanting this. You can see him just trying to pull attention in, but no one's really giving him much to work with, which I don't think is a bad plan at all. If you'd like to not feed Scream, that's always a good plan.
It's not only in... Ooh, nice boost. XMS spots the man, I think, over the top of the smoke, so he hopes that he represents himself. But I was going to say, even in that last round, KPI did a very good job of just holding their positions, not revealing themselves, and waiting for EnVyUs to flood into their crosshairs. They're doing it yet again here, but of course, just versus pistols. Mock cleans up 1, but it is Mason to trade it back. Scream helping out the CT side with a team kill to his name. But there we have it, 10-10 on the board.
And the pause. I'm glad to see this coming out from Envy. Again, it's very easy that you just kind of feel overconfident being envious against an underdog team of any variety. You're just like, well, it's fine, we'll just win eventually. We'll just keep, running what we do. Now, Envy have started to hit that little bit of an awkward moment where it's like, okay, well, they're already in great position money-wise because they've barely done damage to KPI. So KPI's money is going to be very robust going forward, which is brilliant for those guys. They can really just kind of depend on it. They have full utility, everything they need, whether it be an auto sniper or not. Now, for Envy, their money's still pretty light. They can get a buy going eventually, but that's not the point. It's still going to be a little lacking. Maybe they want that AWP coming out for Sixer as soon as possible. Maybe they'd even want to double up. We see it on T-side here on Train occasionally, and we know that Happy enjoys a bit of the AWPing action too. So plenty of options for Envy to go to, but more than anything, you just need to be aware that you don't want to let this one get away from you. You don't want to be off to that slow start. And the crowd, I know, I said it was early before, it's an afternoon now. It's become afternoon. You can tell we're gamers, because by 12 we're like, it's still pretty early here. It's morning time. But everyone's turning up. Everyone's ready for this one. I don't think anyone expected KPI to put up this much of a fight and possibly actually beat Envy. But we are back underway at 10-10, as said. EnVyUs did have that good half, but right back at it. KPI do not relent. They want this one for themselves. They want to prove in front of their home crowd that they can do just as they want. KPI getting aggressive too. This could be pretty disastrous if it goes wrong on the timing. Sixer flashes them in. Yeah, Alex is blind, but he doesn't panic. Smokes out, falls off. I like this angle from DonQ, but he didn't commit. One more second on that and he would have seen RPK.
But Mason lurking, gets denied as well. So RPK asserts himself on an individual level. Of course, there is still another threat. Mop has worked his way up here, so behind enemy lines. And if he's able to work his way towards Ivy, catching the back of 3 players, then this could still happen.
That's trigger discipline, ladies and gents. He sees the bomb, he sees the players, he gets the tag on one, but can't follow up with more. But the information is now known. They know what to do. You can see the response quickly coming in. Oh, that's brilliant as well. Dragunov pins down Happy. Doesn't spot out the second, maybe going back up towards Pop. So again, this is changing things up here. The B side is completely and utterly vulnerable. No one there just yet. The bomb's still en route. Dragunov can't get there in time if he goes lower. And no, down ramp the bomb goes, I'm pretty sure. Dragunov going to play out a little bit late. No, he's still actually there pretty nicely on time. Ooh, just missing out.
Timing is such a finicky thing, but RPK gets jumped on. Dragunov catches the headshot, and we're back to the 2v2. Alex towards the site. XMS distracted, though, so Scream hitting one shot is ever so crucial. He's got himself the Molotov. That'll pop on site. There's no smoke to extinguish the flames, but Alex is currently on it. There's just no time, though. He burns alive, and there we have it.
The difference one smoke could have made to that. That would have been maybe their round. They brought that back from what looked near on impossible to being incredibly viable. I don't know how Dragunov killed RPK like that. This is the opener, which is very, very, I can imagine, frustrating for DonQ there. But RPK really having a big game for himself. You saw the frustration on Mason's face too throughout that. You think if one of those kills went their way, who knows what they can achieve. But already Envy taking back that lead. It slipped away from them for a mere second. But as we highlighted, the money's been very good for KPI. They played out those first couple of rounds very well, very frugal, and now they've gone right back in. A lovely buy for them as well. So they're not really in a bad spot. And this is somewhat of what looks like the default from Envy to a degree. The 3 players up Ivy, a couple elsewhere. And last time around, we saw that KPI were able to find room in this sort of attack.
Of course, this situation very reminiscent of the first half when KPI were able to get 2 rounds hard reset on them, so that is potentially on the table. Sixer still trying to pry towards the Ivy, but as well wary of that flank. I mean, we saw that great flank in the round previous, so they're going to be very worried at that. But here it is, 2 players creeping in, trying to catch, again, Alex out of position. He does have the cross, but 1 man down. The bomb now dropped, retrieved by XMS. Mason on site, tries to further himself, knowing that his right side is open. He's got players towards CT spawn, and they know they're not wrapping rounds, so he wants to line up the 2, but instead he's dropped by RPK. Dragunov grabbing 1 frag, but this could be a little too late.
The shame being that KPI had utility to make plays with. They could have maybe hindered some of that approach, but not to be the case. Sixer will control the situation and shut it down in the end. A good timing on that pause to come out. It seems like Envy have got their minds in the right places here, but still, let's remind ourselves that was, I wouldn't say unfortunate, it was a really nice Ivy take from Envy. You can see the kind of play coming off the back of them. Mop did, he wanted to try and provide that kind of support, but it just kind of went away from them. But you got to feel if maybe KPI found a way to utilize that perfect utility they still had very late in that round, or when that hit came in, that could have been very different. But it wasn't. This is what it is. 12 to 10 now. The money starts to shrink a little for KPI. Still a 0 out to play, not the worst in the world. Mason fine, and as is Alex, but the others, a little less than they'd want.
We saw EnVyUs win with less in these very similar situations. So if KPI can take it, they'll be able to dwindle that lead back down to 1 and put themselves in a prime spot. Already pushed off of the box halls, Dragunov has to retreat. He was looking for that forward angle. So again, nice to see that KPI aren't shying away from these duels. They're not allowing EnVyUs to just kind of bully them and assert themselves, but they have moved another player towards B.
Yeah, because of all the information that Alex is pretty much just relaying back through the side. He pushed up by Ivy. And I'm wondering when Envy either run this or they rotate, because they have no one playing down by Ivy. They've been very aware of this. So this won't fool anyone, or it shouldn't. One smoke shouldn't be enough unless they just switch up now and go through pop. They're making a bit of noise, but these 3 players on B are not moving for KPI. That bomb's still there. Smokes and mollies go in, a bit of an exchange. We're down to around 40 seconds now. Envy have got themselves in a bit of a predicament, because you can see already Alex is working his way down, and they've worked out everything. They're going to get the full idea of what's happening, so they just need to deny it before it begins. Keep that utility firm. Dragunov already finding RPK is big, and the timing on this could be brilliant. Mason, he walks up, he gets one, he sees it all. The whole plan is now unraveled, and Envy need to go.
They've got 2 players to their backside as well, so it is here and now. But Dragunov dwindling down yet another with DongQ on site, dropping bomb. It is just Happy, and he too dealt with. We have KPI not only winning another round, but with 4 players standing at the end of it. The economy was in question, and that's certainly going to help.
I don't know what's happening with Envy on those hits, though. It's fine to do those all-in plays where you play towards a site, but when you don't have anyone kind of playing out default, the CTs are going to get information eventually. And they were running very low on time. By the time they actually went for that hit, they already had 2 players, as you highlighted, behind them. That's ridiculous. Envy, come on now. Let's switch on. Let's kick it up a gear. You're having those good rounds back to back, but you've dropped the money now. You're down to just the upgraded pistols. And for KPI, they lost some of these rounds before against just pistols. They needed those clean anti-ecos. They didn't get them. Now let's see if they can do a bit better on it, a bit cleaner. Oh no, Scream already going to get off to it. Dragunov goes down. Mason feeling alone. 6 has now come into this. What is going on? How are they doing this again? Envy tearing apart KPI. And a true flaw in KPI's plan, it seems, is how to handle these pistols.
They've completely lost the B bomb site as well, but EnVyUs, not expecting to get in with such ease, have left the device towards spawn. So Scream retrieves it, and he's going to start to double his way back. But this has given DongQ time to get in from the Z connector. RPK to his backside, though, and that's an easy 3v1. Mason caught, outnumbered, and outgunned. He's got only that single AK for his entire team to play with. Sure enough, he's got the defuse and 3 players in front of him. Can he do it? No. Happy up close executes him, and EnVyUs yet again in a crucial moment walk away with a pistol round win.
And this is the sort of, I guess, the sort of thing you don't get punished in the same situations or to the same degree, right? You play tier 3, tier 2 teams, any of those. You probably don't get people like Scream being able to do this with Deagle. So you don't probably get, that P250 power or that, great positioning from RPK. This is something that comes with time of playing against these guys on these sort of stages. It's not that they can't do it in practice, sure, but you don't play to your absolute full potential every time in practice. So EnVyUs really hammering it home. But KPI have won the rounds that have impressed me more than anything. It's the harder fought 4 rounds in theory that KPI win, but still, for now, that's not much of a matter because we could be on 14-11 very, very soon. Maybe not.
Yeah, Alex showing he's got a bit of pistol skill himself. The only Deeg in the hands of KPI. A slow creep from EnVyUs. Now, of course, this is the 3rd time KPI have been hard reset in this game. First time on the CT, so not too late to bounce back. But I mean, EnVyUs are going to be knocking on victory's door if they can get this round, which they should. At least Alex is able to again aggress towards Ivy. He will get further information in the rotation from KPI, trying to arrive in time, but RPK from above has already taken 1 headshot. He knows exactly what's going on, and KPI are trying to scramble to clear him. Sure, Mop's able to drop that 3v3 to play off of, and still the AK, but that's big. A second gun, and yes, bomb down.
Scream! What are you up to? What are you doing? 6er now. And Happy, but Happy's position is great. He's doing what he does best, the lurk. It kicks in, 6er fights his battle and wins it. Now Alex, who did the same thing. Oh, he gives it away early. This could be it. 20 seconds, he tried as much as he could, but just let it slip at the end. But Scream going in for that with the bomb just terrified me.
Yet again, KPI putting up in a fight. Round after round, despite the disadvantage. Able to keep EnVyUs on their toes, but unable to prevent them from getting this 14th round on the board. So they're one away from, at the very least, securing that OT where they can take a bit of a breath. KPI back to the bye with an op included. That's Dragunov yet again early on towards the A site, trying to stack this up slightly. Mason gonna feel the heat, deploys the smoke to extinguish it, but already XMS with one frag. Sixer takes the second, and these CTs are starting to fumble. Alex, though, makes me eat my words as he takes another two. It's back to equilibrium.
But RPK, he wants to fight first and he wins his. And the second I wouldn't be surprised at, but Alex is doing everything he can to deny this round from EnVyUs. He does not want to allow these boys to 15. He wants to keep his team in this game. And he's gone for the long play, and I like this. This is smart, this is intelligent, but it has a time limit on it. Sadly, he has no kit.
And now, of course, with that delayed flank, Happy is just going to be thinking to himself more and more that it could be on the cards. He is, of course, already pinned in towards the Ivy side, waiting for exactly this.
Such a nice spot.
He's got Alex's number.
And I really like the theory between what Alex is coming up with, but Happy is probably going to ruin his hopes and dreams. But no, Alex is still trying. But where's that kit? The molly comes in. Happy now has to go to the old bomb train or go through it. Oh, Happy! He dies on it! But time! I don't know if he's got time for this, but Alex, absolutely incredible performance. He might just have this defuse in the bag. 2 seconds, one! Oh. He's got it! What a play from Alex!
Superb play. He tags Happy down just enough for that final tick of damage to burn him to a crisp. You can see Happy's frustration as well, as he was slightly tagged before that even happened. And the last second defuse is icing on the cake. KPI are not down just as of yet.
And look at the money for EnVyUs now. It's back down so bad. It's 2 rifles and a bit of a force up. So EnVyUs, again, quick and pace. For Sixer, at least, he's going to go straight through towards that Olaf spot. Donkey's already going to see them making that way towards B. And that's a big deny from him. Brave play, and I like it. But they've got to be careful they don't over-rotate. There's no one else here. They don't want to lose these guns. Again, don't allow EnVyUs into positions where they can punish you. And for now, though, all is safe on the Western Front. This is great from KPI.
They're very content to just forfeit the A bomb site, go play the bomb itself, keep a couple players lingering towards the back of spawn and Z connector. No stress at this point, other than that AK from Happy. If he's able to just crack a player in the face, get something rolling, maybe even remove the man up close. That is Mason to the side. Mason gets the best of him, though. The ump paying off, clears out the only gun, and it's just EnVyUs with Kevlar and pistols. 2 to the 5. And a little boost over, trying to get cheeky as Mop holds the line.
This is a sweaty angle too. You see the feet before they can do anything about it. And that's another one. One more and we're tied up to 14-14. This game has gone from, all right, a bit of a stomp. Okay, is what it is, to there's a very real chance, considering the money here for EnVyUs. The KPI can do something that no one expected. And let's see. So Sixer can buy an AWP. Let's see how this one goes, though. You can see, look at Scream's money. He's literally on a P250 again. It's all over the place. But here it comes. This has to be the play from Envy. Otherwise, KPI might have just done it.
Mop unsure if there's players close. I'm going to clear out the corner. RPK is looking to flash himself into the box halls. Again, the op to the T side nearby. RPK, again, just looking for some kind of an angle, something to play off of into the B site. But once more, KPI just content with passively sitting to the back of the sites, not offering up that early advantage, and instead just allowing for EnVyUs to do their thing.
And this looks like a dry hit from Envy. I think they're going to just jump down. Yeah, the smoke's already gone in, so it's not as dry as I thought it would be. I thought they were going to just do what they could then. Dragunov again trying to find a little bit of a peek above the smoke. You got to be careful. Sixer's already watching this sort of angle. Good approach, though. One shot could have taken down these players, and now Dragunov's got to be careful. One emerges through the smoke, already takes down RPK. The timing on the flash wasn't perfect. Dragunov could have gotten away. He chose to take the fight, and Scream punishes him. But look at Don Q. He's waited, and now he strikes. The bomb's down. The last two players from Envy are nowhere near, and Happy's playing back in, but you can see it. That frustration, he knows what he's up against. But right on the other side of that smoke, Mason, the flash is perfect. Happy, so blind, unaware. And a re-smoke comes in, but time is now dwindling.
Down to the 30-second mark. EnVyUs coming in from 2 separate spots. It's going to be on XMS from the Z connector. Alex sees it, but still Happy now denied. Mason takes the frag. It is down to XMS. He's got 15 seconds left, and he takes himself the headshot. So 2 players left to get and damage dealt. It's 19 health. He tries to retreat, but he's killed, and the bomb plant can still shine through, but XMS caught in the open, going to re-engage, and this is actually happening. It's down with 12 points of health. He tries, but he just can't find it. It's KPI to tie at 14 apiece.
Envy have fallen apart at the seams. An incredible performance from KPI as well. I'm so impressed with these guys. I think Alex was already highlighted early, but this guy has a great mentality, a good approach, it seems. The way he plays this game out is absolutely lovely to watch, but everyone's been here. Mop's having a good game too. It's just brilliant. And now, what do you do if you're Envy? Do you buy up in this round? Do you let him get to 15? Do you play for OT or do you play for the win? Because you're on 3.2, 3.7. You can get a poor buy. And yeah, we're going to go in on this. All right, this could be it. Envy need this round. There's no two ways about it. KPI have every advantage possible. Momentum, rounds on the board. They have the buy as well against an Envy who's weakened. But it's still Envy. It's still Scream. It's still RPK. These names are household names in CS. You don't get past them every day of the week. But KPI, they've gone by the throat.
Run boost prime, so Scream crosses without being spotted. Alex still with a smoke in hand. Looks like they might double it. Here comes some utility from EnVyUs. So again, 3 players over towards Ivy, just looking to get a little aggressive, and Alex not going to shy from the fight.
But Envy don't have much utility to play with, so every piece they put down, you hope they have a good reaction to it or something to come off the back of it. That's massive. They put everything down now. Alex is pretty pinned here, but the smoke actually well placed by his teammate. He isn't just out of dodge yet. Now he's safe. Again, he's weathered the initial storm. The next hit could be coming soon. They've got the smoke and the molly still on Happy, and a flash between him and RPK, and that's it. Once that goes, you're down to raw firepower.
Speaking of fire, again, a Molotov just burning off the control from Ivy. So 4 players from EnVyUs redirected, and they're going to try to come into the A site. Mop from above, cleared out first and foremost. That Scream with the kill now. No utility to the T side, but a frag back from Donq and Dragonov. They're making this man advantage work. They've dropped the bomb in the open. Mason doubles down, and it is just Scream 1v3. He's removed from the server, and KPI have secured overtime at the very least.
And I've got to see that money coming in for EnVyUs. They've got, what, like 4.8, 4.1. They can fashion a buy, but it won't be much better than the one before. Maybe just a couple more rifles, but the utility is still going to be completely bare bones. Oh, this could be absolutely outstanding. Dragonov hiding away the guns, just trying to keep them from being able to get anything beyond their means, because you can see it, a measly amount being dragged through by Envy, but 15 to 14. KPI living a bit of a dream here. Scream, though, flashed in, looks to gain some sort of ground. He wants to get this started. Spots his first victim. Doesn't find the kill, though. Goes back in, loses out. Mason wins it out for KPI to begin with. Nice early chance. Maybe frustrated play from EnVyUs. Very isolated approach, but RPK wants a bit of the action over by B.
It's Dragonov spotting for his feet, however, and keeping an eye towards upper. Donq gonna get the pressure first as RPK shoulder peeks it. He is now down for the count. It's a 5 versus 2. Happy tries to come in. It's just Sixer on a Tech 9. KPI working miracles in Valencia. Can he do it? Can he get anything done?
These situations are nightmare fuel, but Mob does it. What a moment for KPI, and what a way to start off DreamHack Valencia. The hometown heroes picking up the victory over EnVyUs. Everyone said Envy had that great draw for themselves. Get off to a good start. This could be their tournament, but these guys were not going to let that happen. What a start of their story here.
I mean, the biggest talking piece, KPI, this is their event. It's what they've been looking forward to. It's what they've been preparing for, and obviously what would mean the most to them. So to see them walk away with that 16-14 upset in the first map of the entire weekend is just a beautiful start. I mean, the emotion clearly rising, not just through the players, but their fans as well. Excellently done. And you think, of course, of that first half with the 3 hard resets after they're able to win that pistol round in the 8th, after they're able to get another win on the board for the 13th round. It's just reset after reset, and it keeps them in the 5-10. So much more could have been accomplished, but they still get it done in the second half. It's glorious to watch. What an upset.
I don't know what to say. You watch those sort of games, and it always feels like eventually EnVy are just going to go through the motions of winning, because they know how to. They don't know how to lose normally, but KPI's performance was second to none. Individually, they were great. As a team, they were impressive and surprised a lot of us, I think. We know that was their comfort pick on terrain. We know they're very good at it, and I think we've just seen as to why.
I mean, that's it. We mentioned, of course, comfort pick for both teams, and maybe a little too comfortable for EnVyUs. As they didn't, shift all too much up, but money was also a bit of an issue. There was just variables all going the way of KPI, and that is how they pieced together this win. So what a glorious start.
Well, I think that's going to change up the tournament a bit, and James Duffield is the only person right so far on the prediction. Oh, boys. So who's going to be hosting out of Halvor and Pimp now? Can you just let me know? I'm kind of curious who takes that role on, because James has been watching demos. He's been putting in work. But yeah, taking nothing away from KPI, those guys fought incredibly hard. I'm so impressed with what they were able to achieve. Sometimes I guess the fear of playing against teams of the caliber of EnVy can get into your head so early on. I
mean, that was another thing. We were worried about the confidence and aggression of EnVyUs, and honestly, we start to see that disappear. Earlier on, they were going for those aggressive rounds up into the CT Brown halls, but on their T side, they had to really kind of rely back on a more passive timing. Even on the rounds where they only had pistols to play off of, they really tried to make the most of map control and an execution, so their hands were tied.
Yeah, guys, I think it's time for us to say goodbye, but let's head down to the stage to hear from, I can imagine, Stunner and one of the boys from KPI. What a performance.
What a performance indeed. I'm standing here with Mops, and this guy just coming down from a little bit of adrenaline right now. You guys are able to pick up the first upset here at DreamHack Valencia. How does it feel?
It feels good. We just prepared this match against EnVyUs in the last 2 days, and everyone in my team just thought we could do it, and we did it.
You're damn right you did it. Now, looking at it right now, you guys read their T-side so well. Walk me through that.
We have Mason on the team. He's our in-game leader on train, and he's a good team leader on that map. He read them so hard, and we got a few rounds to make this.
But you did great. Now, tell me one last thing. How does it feel playing in front of a home crowd?
It's amazing, and we are proud of our work.
Well, that is absolute truth. Congratulations again. I'm going to throw it over the desk right now. Take it away, James.
Well, there's been a little bit of a change here, because clearly the 2 analysts that were hired to do this have no idea what they're talking about, and James was the only one to get the prediction right. So welcome back to the Corsair Analyst Desk here with your host, Vendetta, and with me I have 2 expert analysts who are going to take us through this post-game. So obviously, Prophet, James.
Yeah, it's actually just as I expected. Yeah, just as I expected. I've been watching a lot of demos, as Lauren said. Secret weapon of Spain is what I like to call KPI. Yeah. How did you feel, Jacob?
KPI for Major in 2017, maybe?
No, 2018. I think 2017, that's a bit mad. We're like already halfway through the year, but 2018. 2018 makes sense, I think.
Yeah. I mean, we're on trajectory right now. I mean, you would know better than any of us, having watched the demos. You've seen the progression all the way from 2016, how they've kind of come along to this point.
I actually personally trained Alex.
You did?
Yeah, me and Alex, we boot camp a lot, just the 2 of us. I've taught him almost everything he knows.
Well, that is a pretty good topic to start on, honestly, because there were some individuals that shone for KPI, and I think Mops and Alex in particular were the ones who kind of shined or shone the brightest.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, obviously, we've seen Lowell and Mixwell. Do you see any sort of like similarities that these kind of players have the same kind of potential?
Yeah, it seems like they're all like pretty on point individually. Like they all hit shots. Like we saw Dragonov with the insane pistol round with the 4 1-taps with USP all of a sudden. They all had their moments in the game. So that's obviously one of the factors why they're even able to play against EnVyUs. Another one which I want to point out is Alex, as you mentioned. Like he was a pain in the ass for EnVyUs because he was pushing up aggressively on Ivy pretty much every single round, and there was 2 or 3 rounds where EnVyUs did an inside hit, and they had already stacked 3 or 4 players towards inside because Alex would already pushed up Ivy. So like he said it himself, like they prepared for EnVyUs and they read him like a easy book, you know. That was like the second grade material for Alex. He just pushed up Ivy, he saw no one is here, they're gonna go inside, you know, and they stacked inside. So even though he didn't do that much work, I guess, damage-wise, he like won them a lot of rounds just by pushing up Ivy, getting the information, and then telling his teammates that go inside and we got this round. You know?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the cool things that you don't necessarily see with a lot of underdog teams. That, again, we talk about that initial plan that you make for your team. And as soon as the opponent adapts, you kind of get lost. But they were actually proactive throughout the entire CT half for the better part of it. Not necessarily through just mindless aggression into pop or T-main like we see a lot of CT sides do, but yeah, it was just consistent method of, you know, looking out towards Ivy, just keeping tabs on what's going on that side of the map, and then they were willing to take the stack chance towards inner.
And I'd say like EnVyUs as well, like they made it easy for them. They didn't change up their game at all. Like they should have figured out the Ivy thing, and they didn't.
Yeah. Well, where was that? We were talking about that just before the game. The adaptability that we expected EnVy to have due to their experience. Where was that?
Nowhere to be found. It's just simply nowhere to be found. And I guess you know, this is one of the last points that Jacob made before we got into the game, that EnVy are not the kind of team that necessarily does a lot of digging into what their opponents do, and by the same, you know, by the same string, they don't really necessarily make a whole lot of changes to their own play. They're always going to play their own style, as they'd like to call it, right? And it's not a style that's necessarily as effective anymore unless you have just superior individual, and we saw that KPI was able to match that for the better part of this game. So you know, if you end up in an even keel in terms of what kind of individuals are showing up, the more tactical, the more tactical team is going to win, and that was KPI in this situation.
Yeah, yeah. So what do EnVy do from here? Because that's going to be a blow to their confidence. But they have to believe in themselves, surely, and they're going to have to go away from here and have a chat, as it is a double elimination group stage, so they're far from out yet, and they can bounce back. But what are they going to be saying to each other at this point?
For EnVy is that it's a best of 3 next game, and like we see them in the online stages, especially in the DreamHack Masters qualifier. Like they won the best of 3 on the 3rd map. They tend to lose the 1st map like pretty much all the time. For some reason, I don't know. Right. But they pull it back, you know. So great thing for them tomorrow is that it's a best of 3, and you know.
I guess the bad side is the fact that they either have to go up against Misfits and Heroic, which, again, on paper, which not where the match is being played, as we obviously saw versus, or in the first game, but they are going up on an assumed stronger opponent in that best of 3 as well.
Yeah, so any final thoughts before we go into a break and get ready for that next matchup?
Honestly, just very happy to see that KPI had done their homework. I mean, they mentioned it in the interview. They've actually, you know, done their research on EnVy, and that's what we want to see out of teams who get this kind of opportunity to finally play versus the bigger teams in the world. So, you know, they're grabbing their opportunity, and hopefully they can run with it going into their winners match as well.
Yeah, and it makes this group so much more competitive. Like beforehand, we would say there's only 3 teams who can go through, like realistically. But now KPI actually showed that they can beat a team like EnVyUs, so they can surely also beat Heroic or Misfits if they're not playing well. So it makes it just a total open group now.
Okay, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, but before we do, I want to talk to you a little bit about Strafe. It's an esports app where you can find out all about your favorite players, your favorite teams, and their results, and what they're up to, what tournaments they're going to be joining. As it says on the screen there, Strafe is everything esports, so download that to keep up with this tournament and everything happening in CS and esports. We're going to be back very soon. Thank you guys for your analysis. We'll be back very soon with a matchup of North America. It's CLG versus NRG. We'll be back very soon. Stick with us.